You know how it goes. One little comment, a weird look from someone, or even a text that goes unanswered. And boom, your whole day is shot. We've all been there. So today we're going to dig into why that happens, and more importantly, how you can reclaim your power and stop taking things so personally. It's such a universal feeling, isn't it? One minute you're flying high, and the next you're just stuck, replaying some tiny interaction over and over in your head, feeling hurt, maybe a little angry. So why? Why do we give other people the remote control to our own emotions? Let's talk about the trap we all seem to fall into.
Look, feeling hurt by what someone says or does, that's not some kind of personal failure. It's a deeply human, almost automatic reaction. But the cool part is, once you understand how it works, you can learn to step right around it. And it all starts with something that's happening under the radar.
So a lot of the time, this whole thing kicks off with something called emotional contagion. Yeah, you can literally catch feelings from someone else. The Cleveland Clinic talks about this. It's this unconscious mimicry. We're wired from birth to mirror people's expressions, their tone. So when someone walks into a room radiating negativity, you can actually catch it like an emotional cold without even realizing what's happening.
The book, The Four Agreements, has this perfect metaphor for it. It calls all that negativity emotional poison. And when you take someone's comment or insult personally, what you're really doing is opening your mouth and willingly swallowing the poison they're trying to hand you. But what if you could just, say no thanks?
All right, listen up, because this right here is the biggest mind shift you can possibly make. This is the absolute game changer. It's realizing that 99% of the time, what other people say and do has almost nothing to do with you. The old-school Stoic philosopher Epictetus figured this out thousands of years ago. An event happens. Someone says something. That's just a neutral fact. The pain, the suffering, that doesn't come from the thing itself. It comes from the story we immediately tell ourselves about the thing, our judgment that it was a personal attack.
And this is the key to unlocking it all. Someone's words are just a reflection of their reality, their worldview, their baggage. Their reaction is a projection of what's going on inside their universe, not some objective truth about yours. When you really truly get that, that's when you start to feel free. So if their actions are all about them, what's about us? Well, our response. When we just unconsciously catch their vibe, like we saw with emotional contagion, we're basically letting them call the shots on how we feel. This is where we take our power back. It's all about shifting a core belief about who's really in control. And this leads us to a really cool psychological idea called the locus of control. Think of it like a spectrum. On one end, you believe you are the captain of your ship. On the other, you believe you're just a passenger getting tossed around by the waves. So, people with a strong internal locus of control, they feel like they're in the driver's seat. They believe their choices shape their life. But someone with an external locus feels like other people or just random luck are in charge. Taking things personally is the ultimate sign of an external locus. It's literally handing the keys to your happiness over to somebody else. I mean, just think about this quote. It's one of the most powerful things ever said about being human. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust, realized that his captors could take everything from him, his freedom, his dignity, everything, except his power to choose his own internal response. Even in the worst place imaginable, that inner control was his. Okay, so knowing it's not about us and that we have this inner control is great in theory, but how do we actually use this in the real world with real messy people? Well, we build a defense system. We set up emotional boundaries. The best way to think about them is like a fence around your personal energy. They protect your mental and emotional well-being. Good, healthy boundaries help you decide what you're willing to take on from other people, and they stop you from getting completely drained. Do any of these, hit a little close to home? These are all classic signs of having porous or kind of weak boundaries. It's when you can't tell the difference between your stuff and their stuff, and you end up carrying all this weight that was never yours to begin with. So how do you start building that fence? It's actually a pretty clear 3-step process. First, you've got to identify what you need. More time, less emotional dumping. Then, step 2, you have to communicate that need, clearly, calmly. And third, and this is probably the most important part, you have to follow through with action. You have to consistently enforce that limit. Okay, so this all comes together in one final crucial moment, the moment of choice. It's this little gap in time where you get to decide which path you're going to take, We tend to use these words, reacting and responding, like they're the same thing, but inside our brains, they are worlds apart. A reaction is that gut-level fight or flight impulse. It's your brain's ancient alarm system going off. It's instant, it's emotional. But a response is different. It uses the modern, rational part of your brain, the part that handles reason and self-control. It's thoughtful, it's deliberate, and it's you choosing what to do.
And that brings us right back to Viktor Frankl with a quote that just nails this entire idea. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. Someone says something hurtful, that's the stimulus. Before you lash out, before you feel that gut punch, that's the space. It might only last a fraction of a second, but inside that tiny pause is all of your power to choose, your power to be free.
So the next time you feel that sting, that urge to take something personally, just try to find that space. Sometimes a single deep breath is all it takes to get there. And the only question left is, what are you going to build in it? Will it be more hurt or will it be growth? The choice, always, is yours.